This was always going to be a difficult review. I don't know anything about anime. I've watched Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex and Second Gig, and they are brilliant series, and fourth time round, they're still getting better. But I don't know the first bloody thing about this guy. I sent out one of my indentured servants to have a look, and he came back with a Wikipedia article and severe blood loss, saying that Panzerworld Galient was a 1984 anime series, back in the day when it was called Japanimation, and it's about 25 episodes long, and has a thoroughly thrilling plot about a boy who finds a legendary robot and uses it to fight against his dad, who's an evil overlord who's trying to take over the world with other robots. I don't care. The box is kind of boring. Looks like a sort of badly photoshopped granite effect, with there's pictures of the front and the back of the robot and the limited accessories, which include a sword and a half. Not sure what that's about yet. But yes, this bit's boring, so we're going to skip it. Cut! Opening up the blister tray for Galient reveals the following items. There is a shield. As you can see, it's in a really nice, shiny, metally red, with like shiny gold, and even the inside's done in gunmetal rather than grey. That's pretty swish. Of course, you get a sword, and the limited amount I saw on YouTube was this chopping in half a bunch of robotic centaurs, and that was pretty awesome. You also get half a sword, so you can show it sticking out of people. Oh, and what a surprise! Extra hands and extra fists, which you'll lose. But then, of course, there is the main event. Galient himself. He's rather diminutive, but he's finished in this lovely, deep, shiny red, just like the shield. And if you've ever seen any of the Transformers United figures, I'm yet to work out how they get this gorgeous depth of colour. It's really obvious on the back panels where there's more of him. Just look at that. He's a shiny little bleeder. Now, I've not owned any toys like this really in a while. The last ones I had were the Mobile Suit in Action Gundam figures, who are about the same size, and they're made out of the same disturbingly unpleasant plastic. It's like a squidgy PVC that has no solidity, and it feels just like if you left it in the sun it'd melt. Now, there's not really a lot to do with him, so I'll do something I don't normally do and go through the articulation. In the legs, you've got a hip joint that moves pretty well. You've got a knee joint that makes a hell of a horrible creaking noise, and then these pistony bits get stuck and you have to creak it back again. Like I say, it feels like he's going to break at every movement. His evil Sultan slippers can move forward quite a long way, so you can probably have him doing some funky dancing. And he even has a little articulated flap above him, which I like. That's very tidy. Shoulders. They rotate and they go off. Now, if you have a look at the joint there, it's not a ball joint. It's like a hinge and then a clip. So you can't really pose him very well without it just coming to pieces, which is a bit of a bummer. His head does move, but it takes a heck of a force. That was actually loose last time I touched it, so he's actually got sort of stiffer as I've left him in the box. This is what I was talking about with the kind of stickiness of the plastic and the paint. It's unnerving. He does have sort of an elbow. Why you kids? Obviously wrist articulation from where you can remove the hands. Now, where it gets a bit more interesting is that he does have a waist joint which can look forward and back and tilt side to side and rotate. That's pretty comprehensive. Accessory time. So we'll start with the great big slab of shield. It has clips on the back which come loose. If you have the grabby hands connected, then the PVC actually kind of comes in useful, because you can actually bend the handle around it, which means that when you want to put the shield on, it just plugs in, and there we are. The only issue is that the shield tends to plug out just as easily. I also worked out what the and a half is for. The idea is you can stow it in the top of the shield. Wouldn't it have fit anyway? Now the little guy is looking a bit more impressive. He's all armoured up like a proper knight should be, ready to go and smite things. I don't really get it. Why would you bother having the fist and the open hand when you need both of these graspy hands to wield his interesting accessories? For sake of argument, I just swapped out one of the hands. He's now got the "why I order" fist going on. I'm never doing that again. It's no word of a lie. Trying to swap that hand caused him to explode into about 5 pieces. I think this definitely qualifies as a collector's item, meaning something you put on a shelf and never, ever, ever touch. So, yeah, the hands are kind of extraneous, and it also made me notice a couple of things. One good, one bad. The good. Inside his shoulder armour, there's some really nice moulded detail. I'll have to show you in close-ups. And also, under the arm, there's like this ribbed kind of armour panelling as well. Really, really cool. However, the bad news is that he's got those horrible monkey arms. They go... oh, Christ. The elbows are sideways, so if you turn them backwards, which is impossible due to the way the clip is, they'd go forwards. But they don't, so he's left with what's generally called curling iron arms, or like monkey arms. This guy is rapidly using up my patience. So, the best way of displaying him, I think, is in still image. He does look an awful lot better this way, and this is obviously what he's intended for. Personally, he's not convinced me. These little PVC figures I still think are horrible. If I'm going to be fair, I hate him as a toy, but as a display piece, he's actually really cool. So in summary, I don't like the PVC toys at all. I do like this guy, but only as something to look at. He's an ornament. He's quite a nice ornament. He has no actual sort of meaning to me because I would have been 2 when the show was on the air, and I'm not Japanese, so I wouldn't have even seen it. If you're into cosplay and you're looking to out-nerd all of your friends, this is where you start. Be him. You just have to grow about 100 foot tall. You can do that, right? Henshin!